All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to another Star Wars with Daddies. Um, Afton won't be with us again this week. His internet's giving him pretty big problems, and it's just not working for him this week. So he won't be joining us again. Um, so yeah, it's just me this week. Another relatively quiet week in Star Wars. So we'll talk about some of the stuff that we did get. So obviously we dropped the trailer reaction, but the long-awaited Star Wars, what's it called? Ubisoft game. What's it called? Ubisoft open world game. Finally did get more information, and we're getting it next year. Still don't know a whole lot about it. There's a gameplay trailer, but we don't know even a lot from that. I mean, you can only tell so much from a trailer, right? So we'll see. More development comes in, but as it looks pretty awesome. There's a little bit of unwanted, what's the word? I guess drama with it. So he plays a bounty hunter in the Imperial era, and eating dinner. And it's between what looks like 5 and 6, because we get a scene that looks like it's Han Solo and Carbonite, which it could be somebody else, but it looks like it is Han Solo. So from that scene, we can kind of presume it's through 5 and 6. But the main thing is the main character. You play as a bounty hunter, and you're a girl, which I personally don't really care. I want to see how great this game is. Well, I guess a lot of people are a little upset by this. They feel like some sort of Disney agenda is being pushed, which I don't personally believe that. I think this is just a game. I mean, who really cares? Would it have been cool if it was a guy? Sure, I guess. I mean, it's just a video game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what difference the gender of the main character makes until the story turns out. Maybe it is a game that they're just pushing agenda and propaganda at fans, but the main character's gender isn't going to really be a deciding factor for me, at least not yet. So I don't really divulge myself into that drama, but there's a little bit of that when that game got dropped. People looked pretty excited about it, and then you had a big group of people who were disappointed the main character was a female, which, again, I just want to see how this game turns out. I like Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, but there's some things that could be fixed gameplay wise, story wise, and I want to see this game can be an improvement on that, especially since it's not EA anymore, right? I don't really care what the character is, so yeah, there's that. Then we have the ongoing delays because of the WGA, Writers Guild of America, strike. This is going to affect supposedly some of the Star Wars movies, right? I think Star Wars to kind of calm the tide when they were talking about delaying. Here, before I forget, they talked about delaying the upcoming Rey movie from 2024 supposedly to 2025. They also dropped that they're going to be dropping a movie in 2026 and 2027, so 3 years straight. So I wanted to make a video on that tonight. We'll talk about it tomorrow because that's kind of important, but everything got delayed. The 2 new Avengers movies, Kang Dynasty, and then there's another Avengers movie, they're all getting delayed. The Avatar movie's getting delayed, so a lot of things are getting delayed, and it's affecting Star Wars too, but that was really it. Afton, his Wi-Fi is working enough that he can at least comment. It says Star Wars has some pretty powerful and well-liked female characters. Ahsoka is a fan favorite. Yeah. I mean, no one said anything when Ahsoka was a character. Like, oh, you're just sexist and trying to push an agenda. It's like, no, it's just a character. You know what I mean? or Leia. Leia's badass. This really only ever happened after the sequels, right, with Rey. And I don't know. It feels like it's the pendulum is swinging too far one way over the other because I don't think, the main character's gender really ever matters. In some stories it does, right? But some stories it doesn't. Who cares? In stories like the sequels or Kenobi, where it's kind of obvious they're pushing this female-friendly agenda with Reva or Rey, then there's a problem. But just having a female as a antagonist or whatever, having as a main character or villain, there's no problem with that. So I don't really know why people are up in arms about it, but I'm still excited to see how this game turns out because it looks very cool. Like I said, you're a bounty hunter, which kind of gives you limitless options. Because we've seen all kinds of different bounty hunters, all the way from Din Djarin to Boba Fett to Cad Bane to all kinds of cool bounty hunters. Technically Asajj, right? Like really cool bounty hunters. So this game is still really limitless. I'm very excited to see how it goes. Yeah, that's really it. There's really just it's called Star Wars Outlaws, just so you guys know. It looks very cool, and it's very big, supposedly, right? Obviously, we're only going off of the people who are developing it and want it to sell well. So, how well can we really trust that information? Obviously, but from the little gameplay that we did get revealed, it looks freaking awesome. It looks like finally we're getting some really cool flying, like ship and space mechanics. Like you can actually travel to different planets, but even cooler, you can travel to different systems, which I think every fan wants that for a Star Wars game, right? Star Wars is such a vast universe, and that's what's, that's where its draw is. Like you have your favorites, right? For people my age, the younger teenagers or young adults, it's the Clone Wars era, right? That's just what we find to be our favorite because that's what we grew up with. For older folks, people who grew up in the 70s and 80s, they love Endor and Hoth, like those older nostalgic planets. Right? For newer, it's some of the planets that are new from the new games, the new shows. So having that vast category and catalog of different play options and places to visit is going to be, I think, a hit out of the park. I think people are going to love that. I'm excited to see how they do it. I'm an older folks, and you are right, says Echo Based Network. Yeah. I personally love almost all of it, right? Like, I don't really have a particular favorite. I just know that's part of the draw to Star Wars, right? Once you have such a big catalog, you just kind of can appeal to all kinds of different fans. With something like, let's say, Warhammer 40K, or, we'll use that as an example. Your fan base is very limited, right? Because you don't really branch out, and that's fine. That is very okay. But with something with Star Wars, for goodness sakes, they have a 4+ show, right? They have an anime series. They have, the nostalgic original series. Like, they do that well, and I think by opening up the universe in the game, it's just gonna hit home a little bit better for fans. And I'm excited to see, a game, like an open world game, a story game that isn't lightsaber based, because we've got like Battlefront, but that wasn't much of a story game. Looks like Arthur might be able to join us. Oh, how did he get here? How'd you get in here?
Not 100% sure how well this is working.
It's working just fine. Yeah. So I guess
not on my end, however.
When we did the reaction to the trailer live, we had talked about like the gender of the main character, how it doesn't really matter. But I guess people are pretty up in arms about it, and there's a little bit of a divide. Any more you want to give on that piece?
I'm not gonna lie, I can't hear a word you said. Just 1 second. I'm gonna work on it. All right.
Okay. Anyways, while he
Okay, bro. I heard
fixes
that.
that, what? You're good? All right. So I don't know. I'm just very excited. And I want to see what other options we have for gaming, because it's been just EA for, I forgot exactly when they signed that exclusivity deal, but Ubisoft has some of the coolest games. Obviously, their graphics are amazing, but they have some great story games. And I want to see how they do with an established franchise like Star Wars. So I'm excited to see how this branches out. We obviously have other games on the horizon like Eclipse. That doesn't look to be as open world. It looks to be more story driven and campaign driven. But I'm excited to see other games like this open up, different varieties for different fans. Yeah, that's really it for that game. Anything you want to talk about that on that game, Afton? He's still not with us. Looks like we just have him here in spirit, folks. You are muted, my friend.
Okay, I'm here. I know. I hope my mic's better. I really don't know what it is. Oh gosh, this mic is horrible. I'm hearing everything on delay, but I'm hearing everything, and that's what's important, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm excited for this open world game. I'm excited. I really am. I've seen a little bit of the gameplay, especially whenever someone took a fighter off and went to outer space, and I think that's very unique. I haven't seen that before, and frankly, any game. I'm just that's a mechanic I've never seen before. You take off in outer space, you can do like little dogfights around the planet, and then from there, every time we have in Star Wars gone into outer space, it's been like a quick travel scene. We go straight there with no cut or anything, and I probably say everything, and it's not everything. Oh gosh, all right, you're trying to talk. Go for it.
I think the closest we have for that is Lego Star Wars, like being able to get in a ship and travel into space. I think the closest iteration of that we have is the Lego Star Wars games.
Yeah. Lego Star Wars, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Lego Star Wars is just, I mean, it's directed to kids too much for it to be as enjoyable as a young adult, a teenager, right? I mean, personally, I'm pumped up for this because it's going to be open world. If what we see is what we get, then we're going to be able to fly into outer space, do little dumb missions, dogfights, go back down. I assume they're going to make some of the planets really close enough to each other to where you can fly from one to another. That would be really cool. I'm not sure exactly how good that's going to be. The quality, maybe it's gonna suck, but going from one system to another is gonna be amazing because supposedly, they got a lot of systems revealed in Star Wars canon, but I bet you they're gonna reveal one or two extra that we haven't heard before, and then we're gonna go to extra planets that we didn't even know existed before. That I'm honestly really pumped for. Not 100% sure how that's all gonna work, but I mean, I'm just really excited to see.
Yeah. Too. The last thing is, so for some reason, Andor's budget kind of got released, which doesn't usually happen like this. Usually happens during the release of the show. But it looks like Andor's budget is around $100 million for season 2, which is absolutely ridiculous. For instance, Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? A series that everyone was relatively hyped for. It did decent in numbers. Its alleged budget was $25 million. So 4 times the amount is the budget for Andor, which I don't know if you guys know. Andor season 1 tanked. It was probably one of the worst performing Disney Plus shows they've had. So, yeah, I don't really know what the thinking behind this is, but this better slap. That's all I gotta say.
It better. You're 100%
Better not
right.
be a season 1.
The first season had its moments. It had some pretty cool visual effects, but I mean, I think they had just like 2 or 3 stunts they just wanted to have the whole rest of the season fly on, and you really can't do that. if we watch this next season and it looks like they put their whole budget into 2 episodes, 1 or 2 episodes, I'm gonna be pretty damn mad because $100,000 or 100. Sorry, is that 100 million? That's like more than $5. That's quite a good bit of money right there. $100 million budget better be going to some good places, including research on what the Star Wars fan base likes, because they could have used some of that in the first season. I'll just say that much.
Yeah. I'm expecting it to be a lot of like graphics. So that was like the one thing that I think Andor stood out beyond all Disney Plus shows from the last couple of years was its visuals were probably the most beautiful. Right? Mandalorian compares, at least not last season in my opinion. But a lot of Mandalorian compares to Andor, but like Boba Fett, Kenobi, they didn't look very visually pleasing. Andor did, and I'm expecting that's probably what a lot of this is because they did really good with that in the first season. I expect them to probably do really good with it in the second season.
Yeah, I'm always optimistic on how it is. I don't recall what the budget of the first season of Andor was, but they got some. They went to a lot more planets than some of the other episodes and other episodes. Sorry, other series. And if they go to some cool ass place and just waste all the budget on making, I mean, just some random planet like Coruscant, I'm gonna be pretty
I'm sorry.
annoyed. But I don't think they're gonna do that.
I'm sorry. Andor season 1 was 100 million. Andor season 2 is 250 million.
Holy crap!
So yeah. A lot of money.
Or that's a higher budget than Mandalorian.
Yeah. Reportedly. Nothing's really been confirmed.
That is insane. Same, just my dumb self Googling stuff. It was 12 episodes. I don't know if we confirmed that or not, but 12 episodes in both seasons, and you're 2.5 times in the budget. The first season was pretty good with the visualizations. It, I just hope that's not where they pump all their money, because $100 million and you put it into some visualizations would be annoying. I mean, that's probably what they're going to do, but they got so much potential they can do with Andor. They really do. They could put some really cool fights. They could have them do some random crap on course. There's so much possibilities. I mean, I'm excited for what they could do, but I'm gonna lower my hopes and wait until I see what they do.
We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, I'm not gonna hold on to Afton too long. His Wi-Fi is like the grade of a potato, sexy. So, so
My bad.
anything else you wanted to say on something that you might have heard me say before you joined?
No, I completely agree with you with the female character thing. It's possible Disney is trying to push an agenda with a female character, but all we know right now is that the main character is female, and that's not enough to go off of. That's not even remotely enough to go off of. They could be pushing the hugest agenda in the whole freaking world. They really could be, but until we see that, don't be accusing them of something that hasn't happened yet. Once it happens, blow them up. Do it. They deserve it if they end up doing that. But Ubisoft's in charge of it. Disney's in charge of the I assume plot for a pretty high extent. But I don't know how much of an agenda Ubisoft's going to push. I know Disney likes to push their agenda. I can't recall. I think Ubisoft does too a little bit.
I'm sure Ubisoft. I'm sure Disney though has a pretty big impact on the story of the game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna assume it's canon.
Yeah, it's canon. They have to have some people go in there and make sure everything makes sense. But like, Iden Versio was the main character in the game Battlefront 2, and that was a while ago. That was 2018. That was a fire game. She was an amazing antagonist. A fire campaign when I played it. It was visually pleasing. I liked every part of it. It wasn't open world. It's gonna be way different than this. No one had a problem with her being a female, to my knowledge. I just think that we should. I don't know. Not have a problem until there's a problem.
I'm not. Trust me, I'm one to when agendas are being pushed, I'm right there at the fence yelling. Right, like I don't like that, right? A story is a story. I don't care about how you feel about politics or whatever. But there's no reason to be accusatory because one side is just as bad as the other. If you're accusing them of being, and then, what's it called, pushing a propaganda or an agenda, but you
Before it
can't accuse them
happens.
of something that they haven't even done. Like what happens if it's just a legit amazing game and you guys accuse them of, being sexist or having an agenda,
Yeah,
but it was just a good game and it turns out you guys were just dumb. Like just wait, let's see what happens.
yeah, exactly. Last thing I have to say, I do apologize if my timing has been off. I have my earbuds right now connected to my phone, and I'm listening to it with like a 5 second delay. I do apologize if I got that off. I just thought I should throw that out there though. But I'm really excited for this game. I am. It sucks that everything's been delayed. Like even the Avengers movies being delayed. I'm not one to go watch the Marvel movies, but if I hear one of them's really good, I'm gonna wait for it to come out on Disney Plus and watch it. Like
Well,
I've
yeah.
heard some pretty good
It's
things about
everything.
Ant
It's
Man.
Avatar. Like I don't know if you guys know,
Everything's
but we
being
liked
backed
Avatar.
up.
We did some reviews
Yeah,
on it, some Lego reviews. So I mean, like everything's being affected by this WGA strike, even the Star Wars movies. So we'll see, how more projects are, because if they're already delaying movies for years, it looks like it's having a pretty
yeah.
big impact on the company as a whole.
Oh yeah. I'm not excited to see how this will go, but
Yeah,
doesn't look good.
we'll see. All right, with that, we hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys are on podcast, don't forget to hit that download and follow. If you guys are on YouTube watching this at a later time, don't forget that subscribe and like. With that, hope you guys enjoyed this. We'll see you guys on next week's stream, 7 or 7:30. We don't know what we like to do, but we like to do one of those two. And with that, we'll see you guys later.